There aren't many anime or shows out there I enjoyed watching more than Evangelion. I hadn't really watched or played any media that fell under the Mecha genre aside from the game Titanfall 2. When I was suggested this series by a friend, I was absolutely hooked. Anyways, what's so special about this 30-year-old anime series about giant robots? Okay, so to understand Evangelion, we need to go back to 1995. Evangelion is an anime series directed by Hideaki Anno, who you might know for being the director of Shin Godzilla, or for any of you Tokusatsu fans out there, he also directed Shin Kamen Rider. This series is a science fiction mecha anime with a slight touch of horror. Being a mecha anime makes it fall into the category of the likes of Gurren Lagann, Darling in the Franxx, and even Mobile Suit Gundam. The story of Evangelion follows our protagonist, Shinji Ikari, a young teenager from Tokyo 3. Oh, did I mention this was set 20 years in the future from when it came out? Who is called to a secret organisation known as Nerved by his father to pilot the Evangelion, a biomechanical weapon which is essentially a giant robot with human consciousness. Sort of. The reason why Shinji is told to pilot it is to defend Tokyo 3 from a series of hostile creatures known as the Angels. This is because if the Angels reach Nerve HQ, which is underneath Tokyo 3, and make contact with Lilith, who is sealed inside Nerve HQ, it would cause an event known as the Third Impact. Now, without going into much detail, the impacts are events that are normally catastrophic or that alter the course of humanity. Now, as you watch Evangelion, you might notice the recurring religious imagery, especially centered around Christianity. When trying to find a reason why, I can only find that the director thought it was just cool, I guess. Now, you might look at this and think, wow, this is incredibly dated. How is it still relevant 30 years later? And yes, it is. But Evangelion has had two iterations, that being Neon Genesis Evangelion and Rebuild of Evangelion. On the surface, Neon Genesis Evangelion looks like a mecha anime with a simple premise. However, darker themes are explored within the show. Before writing Evangelion, Hideaki Anno was experiencing depression, which led to him writing the series later on. Anno's depression is mostly reflected in Shinji, who appears to be mentally weak in most circumstances. Shinji had a habit where he'd run away from overwhelming circumstances, which Anno relates to the fact that he was a man who ran away for 4 years. The psychological side of the series is explored more after around episode 16. The production of Neon Genesis Evangelion was not a smooth ride, with a tight budget running up to the show's ending, meaning that the original ending was scrapped until 2 years later with End of Evangelion, which is the film that is part of the Neon Genesis series. And well, the studio that made the original anime went bankrupt last year as well. Why should you watch Evangelion? If you're a fan of mecha or sci-fi anime, this is definitely something you should watch. Psychological anime fans will also find this a good watch. If you've already watched it, then tell me what you thought was best about it. If you haven't, I highly suggest you do.